Hi, John.
Hey, how are you?
Good. So where are you calling from today?
I am in Los Angeles today. So our head office of ZonGuru is based in Los Angeles. So it is another sunny day here in Los Angeles. Yeah,
Very
and
nice. A
the
sunny
accent
day.
the accent doesn't sound American. My background is I'm originally from South Africa, Johannesburg, and then lived in London for a while, and I've been in Los Angeles for about 14 years. So my accent is a little wonky, but
Oh,
not
cool. So
American
you're
yet.
one of them digital nomads, right?
There you go. Well, no, not really. I've been here in Los Angeles for 14 years, but yeah, this is home. Yeah.
Cool. Very welcome. Welcome to Shopkeeper Podcast.
Thank you.
Well, I researched a little bit about you, and I know that you're the founder or co-founder of ZonGuru, right? And so ZonGuru seems to be like the core feature that you guys have is the keyword research. Am I right? I know you have a full suite, but what is the core feature that most people are coming to you guys for? Like, look, what's the one you're proud of mostly? What it is?
Yeah, I think we launched ZonGuru back in end of 2016, which is when we launched the software set, and our vision was an all-in-one software tool set. So literally at the kind of key trigger points of your Amazon business, making sure that we can, create the right kind of tools to give you the right data so you can make the right decisions for your business. That was kind of the essence of ZonGuru. And so we're very much focused around, obviously keyword research, and giving you the right tools and data to find the right products, and then listing and launching. So how do we help you optimize your listing and obviously launch, and then business management and scale. So giving you the right tool set to be able to manage your business and scale that, and then customer connection, and ensuring that you can keep your customers happy. So that's kind of how we divided out the key trigger points across your Amazon journey, and we really focus on giving you tools at each part of that. But to your point, one of our really successful tools at the moment is Keywords on Fire. I came up with that name, just by the way.
That is awesome.
It is. We definitely put the fire into your keywords, and it's a really amazing tool that you can use one for finding the right relevant, non-competitive and competitive keywords, but having displaying the keywords in a way that you can make that decision. Are these ones that I should be targeting, or ones I should have in my listing, etc. So it's pretty powerful, and also there's really unique ways you can use that data to help you find product niches. So that's the tool that a lot of bigger sellers that are using it are just telling us to keep it quiet, because it's kind of the best kept secret. It's getting at keywords that a lot of your competitors in the Amazon space who are using other products aren't getting. So it's got a lot of success behind it right now, which is great.
Well, so I guess the gossips that I heard are right, that you guys are strong on the keywords. Cool. So let's do this practical part now. I will select a random product. Let's say it's a scuba diving backpack. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a question, and I'd like you to use your expertise to give me 3 tips about it. Okay. So product is scuba diving backpack. So what would be the 3 things that you would change on it to get more sales? So let's say it's already my bestseller product. Let's think about it that way, because when it's a new product, it's completely different things that you can do, right? You enable PPC and you so on. But when it's already bestseller and I've done the basics on it already, what would you say could be the next things? Like, could you come up for me with 3 things that I could change on that bestseller in order to get more sales from it?
Yeah, good question. I like scuba diving, so I think I did it maybe 25 years ago, and almost killed myself, but all good. Look, I think the 2 ways that you look at any product on Amazon I divide it into two real categories. One, to be successful, right? 50% of it is the data, right? So you need to make sure you have the right data, accurate, relevant, and timely, and use that data to really optimize that listing, right? So, and we can dive into that in a second. But the first part of Scuba Diving Backpack would be, what data am I missing out on that can really help me to optimize that listing and scale? So that's the first part I would say we would need to look at. And then the second part, and this is a massively important piece, that a lot of sellers to a degree sometimes forget about, which is the softer skill, right? And the softer skill is ensuring that I really understand my customer, and the creative side of me has understood that avatar, understood what my customer wants. And then I've thought about ways of how I could better connect with that customer through my communication, my benefits, all that kind of stuff, and through my differentiation, right? So once you've got all the data and you know that you've got as optimized a listing, how can I make sure that I can creatively think of ideas of how I could potentially connect better with my customer? So that's kind of the way I would divide any project or analysis I would do around a product. So on the scuba diving side, I think the immediate thing that I would do, Scuba Diving Backpack, is look at the data, right? And the key things for me would be to first ask the question, what are my competitors optimized for? And Keywords on Fire does that. You can pick out your specific ASINs from your top competitors and look at all the keywords. How are they ranked? What are they ranking from position 1 to 150? You can literally look at that versus how competitive they are. What's the demand for those keywords, and what's the actual dollar amount and the search volume from those keywords? Those are really key metrics that will allow you to answer that question. Are customers actually searching for this? Are they actually, is there actually dollars coming from those keywords? Are a lot of the competitors getting their sales from those keywords? And how are my competitors ranking? Are they in position 25 or position 1 for those competitors? And if I can look at that, I can really start to see where are the opportunities. And we have a matrix that kind of shows you can look at it at a high level and see, okay, my top 5 competitors are ranking really well for these top keywords, but there's a few opportunities where they're not. And then I'll ask the question, am I ranking for those, or should I focus on ranking for those keywords? Obviously putting some promotional strategies and targeting strategies around that through PPC or obviously Google Ads or whatever to help drive sales for those keywords, or moving that keyword up in your listing. So it's really about identifying the keywords that I really want to go after that my competition isn't as much. And then the second piece on that data side is actually looking at some of the longer tail keywords. So using some of the data to filter down and look at potentially some keywords that don't have as much search volume or as much dollars from keywords, but have a lot less competition, and the longer tail, and my competitors aren't even ranking for those. And as long as those are relevant for my listing, if I can actually rank for those, you kind of get that halo effect where if I rank for some of those non-competitive longer tail keywords and I can convert on those from a sales perspective, the Amazon algorithm will start sending me a lot more traffic, not only for those, but for some of those more competitive keywords as well. So I kind of divide it into those two sections. So really it's about making sure first and foremost that I've got a really clear strategy on how I want to optimize my listing, what keywords I want to go after, and that I have a plan to rank for those. So that's what I look at. And then the last piece on the data is I actually look at what are the daily sales I need to do for my main keywords that I'm targeting in order to get to page 1. And if I'm falling short on that, how do I actually generate more sales through PPC, Google Ads, or Facebook Ads, or whatever that is. So I need to understand if I am actually going for a keyword. We have a launch keyword number. This is during the launch phase, but you can use it ongoing. But it actually tells you how many sales I would need to get for that keyword to be on page 1. And if I'm falling short, how do I generate? What's that split between organic sales, PPC, and kind of off of Amazon sales? and how do I actually come up with a plan to nail that? So that's the data side that I'd be looking at.
So what about, because it's an established listing, that scuba diving backpack. Now, what I'm going to do with those keywords? I'm a little worried to change anything in my title or, because it's doing so well already. Like, how would you approach that? You said one of the ideas is to find the keywords that competitors are targeting, but you are not. And then once I get those few keywords, like let's say there's 3 phrases that I'm missing out on that have good volume and I'm not targeting. So where do I put them to be safe that I'm not going to lose my existing rank? Because it's a little bit sensitive when it's the bestseller product.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think your propensity for risk and whether you're willing to change your listing is something you need to judge for yourself. And I think it will be really dependent on what opportunity you actually find. And if it's a massive opportunity, is it worth changing my listing and putting that keyword in there, right? The one thing you can do is, obviously, even if you don't have it in your listing, you can use our ASIN index checker to see if you actually index for that keyword already. Because sometimes you do, even, the algorithm can be funny. You can be optimized, ranking for keywords you don't even necessarily have. Especially if you're a bestseller, they do a lot of work behind the scenes to give you that ranking. But in the longer term, it's probably better to put that keyword into your listing, and over time you'll rank for that. And even if you have a slight bump, you'll get back to where you need to be and do better. So what I've seen personally is, in the short term, you might have a few ups and downs, but in the longer term, it's going to be better for you. But if you're not willing to do that, then I think it's understanding what those keywords are and then driving it using outside traffic. So targeting those keywords and driving that through Google Ads or Facebook and driving that. And then the final thing is you can always potentially just put in your back-end keywords. We have a tool, I think it's the only one in the space that I know of, called Keyword Spotlight, which allows you to spy on your competitors' back-end keywords and obviously see what they're putting in there. So that's really interesting to see not only what your competitors do, but what Amazon does in terms of what they put in their back-end keywords. So you've got to check that out because you see some crazy stuff. But you can potentially also put in your back-end. So that's what I would do. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that, but that's how I would.
No, but it's a very cool idea to actually look up. I know that this exists, that type of thing, looking up someone else's backend keywords, but I've heard that many of the other people are not using the backend keywords that well. Like, you have to find the guy who's a pro at it and then copy that guy, Now you're saying Amazon listings you could look up. That's an idea,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it's definitely worth checking out. And I think, you're right. A lot of the ingrained listings don't necessarily have anything in their back-end keywords, but a lot of the newer listings launched in the last 6 months, you'll see they've got a lot more in there, probably including some of your brand terms as well. So it's always interesting to see what they put in there. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. So you also mentioned understand the customer. Could you expand on that a little bit? Like, what do you mean understand the customer? How is it going to help my listing?
Yeah, and this is such an important point. I think that whenever anyone starts an Amazon business, one of the key pieces of advice I give them is or questions I ask is how well do you understand your customer? What research have you done around truly understanding who your customer avatar is? Because it's one of those situations where the more information you have in, the better your decisions are that you make, right? And if you really truly understand your customer, what drives them, what do they love, what do they hate, what are their beliefs, what are they looking for in this product, the more opportunity you have to create images, benefit overlays, and copy that connect with that customer. And as much as I know that the click is really important, but the conversion and the conversion percentage is massive, right? So if I can really understand those relevant keywords that really connect with my audience, and then I have a listing that delivers on that, that's going to help me in the long term to really rank and scale my business. So, making sure that you do a simple thing like putting down on paper, who is my avatar? What do they love? What do they hate? What are their beliefs? What do they look like even? Are they male, female, whatever those things are? This is a really important point. Doing some research around that. We have a tool called the love-hate tool, interestingly. But basically that word clouds everything that customers or customers who like competitive products, what do they actually love about it from reviews, and what do they hate? So you can really quickly see what are the common themes around what people are really looking for in a product. And importantly, you can actually dive into the reviews and actually look at the detail on that. So it gives you insights into what should my listing have and what should I really focus on that might be that little spark for a customer to go, hey, you know what? This isn't the cheapest product here, but they've called out the right things, and I'm gonna buy it. And that's what we want. We want customers to focus on the benefits rather than just the price. And I think it's a massively important point that you need to do before you even launch your product. You have to understand that customer, and that's that soft skill that I'm talking about. It's brand, it's benefits, it's copy. All these important things that sometimes people just want to jump in and go, great, give me the data, give me a product, let me work on my launch phase. And they launch their product and it's going okay, but it's not going as well as they should. And if they just did the work up front, their road is easier. Yeah.
Well, I was watching one of your talks online just before the interview, and you said very interesting thing there in that talk, that you said you can, first thing is like upsell, then something like you warm up the customer. First, the customer, then you upsell to the customer, and then you retarget the customer. Could you talk about this upselling part a little bit more? How can you change your listing, or what did you mean there? Was it more meant for Shopify sellers or for Amazon sellers? How can we upsell them in the Amazon listing?
God, yeah, I can't actually recall which talk that was, but I think one of the things that comes to mind, and maybe this is what I was covering there, is that one of the interesting strategies around scaling your Amazon business, and when you truly think of your business as a proper business, not just an e-commerce Amazon business, but a truly, when I say proper business, a proper brand, right, and a proper experience that can really bring you massive scale, is to really think of potentially your Amazon channel as your lead magnet. You're selling one product to a customer, but that's the first product in a journey of products and experiences. And if you start to think about your product being your first touch point and your first engagement with your customer and that first opportunity to connect with them, but that the journey is much bigger than that, you really start to think of ways that you can scale your business and create this true big brand and big experience. And a lot of ways to do that is to imagine first selling a product to a customer who's looking for a coffee. I'm holding a coffee mug, but let's just say you sell coffee mugs, right? So it's a coffee mug that you sell on Amazon, and they see a great product and they buy that. And then through your strategies, you eventually land up on your website, and you have another opportunity to engage with them and sell them potentially other products on Amazon, or sell them through your website that drive traffic back to some other products you have on Amazon, and get them to download experiences from your website, and potentially even a product that ends up being a subscription service that you can sell on a monthly basis that really adds value to your company. So these are kind of some of the bigger strategies when you truly look at what you're doing on Amazon. You're not just selling a product, you're selling a brand, and you're selling the opportunity to create a brand and an experience. And you look at the ways that you can engage with your customer along that journey, and bring them more value, which is really an upsell, and adding more money back to your business. The opportunity is massive, and it's just such an exciting place to be in the world today, where we have this amazing platform like Amazon, where we can potentially sell them on a product they really want in the beginning, but through how you engage and connect with that customer, you build an ambassador for your brand, and you bring them more value along their journey over time. And that's just an amazing thing to be able to do. So yeah,
that's so true. It's important to build the customer base, sort of like the audience of your own customers, and you keep just giving more and more to them, and you just get paid for what you give them. I
And I
like
think
this.
if you think of it in that perspective, which is okay, my one touch point at the moment is Amazon, and that's a massive touch point, but that's one of maybe the first touch points in a long customer journey. If you start to think about your brand like that, you then really start to put in place all of the key strategies, like building a custom audience list, other ways that you can engage with that customer during that journey. And when you start to put those strategies in place, even if it's just a few customers that you get over time, or you're building that list, a few, 10 a day or 20 a week or a month, that all of a sudden becomes a massively powerful asset over time. So when you think of it in that bigger picture, you really put in place the right strategies at the right time to build that business over time.
Oh, okay. I have another question for you. So as an Amazon seller these days, it's a little bit different world from 2014. So what would be the core fundamentals to focus on in terms of marketing strategies? One thing that everybody goes for is PPC, and your tool is very good at helping to find the correct keywords for PPC, right? What about something else? Like, what other things do you think work for sellers these days that are sort of big fundamental pieces of the marketing product? Like, what are actual platforms or ways to market it? What do you think?
I think the way to answer that is to first ensure that I really get across the point that you need to choose your product wisely, right? And that's a simple thing to say, but if you're not doing the right research up front and looking at the right data to make the right decision around the product that you launch, and you get that wrong, your journey ahead is very difficult. If you choose right in the beginning, your challenge is going to be staying in stock, right? And that's where we ultimately want to be. You want to use the data, and today versus 3 or 4 years ago, we're making sure that you use data to find your right niche that you can really compete at, because it's a niche within a niche now. You're not going for a consumable product that sells thousands a day, and that you're trying to compete with these really established sellers. The opportunity on Amazon these days is really finding a niche within a niche, right? So where that mid-level demand is and search volume with slightly less competition, where you can really get to page one, and using data to find that. And I think if you choose correctly, then your marketing plan is much easier, right? Because for example, ensuring that one of the questions I always ask when I launch a product is I once I've established, hey, this looks like it's got the right niche rating. We have a tool that rates your niche, but okay, this has a right niche rating, which means it has sufficient demand. People are looking for this product, but it has like sufficient opportunity to make profit. So it's kind of the right price point. And also there's a sufficient opportunity around competition. It's not too competitive. And I think I can actually get to page one for this product. If I can answer all of those, and I can understand how I can differentiate the product to stand out from the competition, and I'm like, great, this is a good product idea. The one key question I ask myself is, what is the number of sales I need to do in that first 14 days honeymoon period to get to page one? And if that number is, let's just say it's 10 a day, right? The next question I'll ask myself is, okay, to get to 10 a day, what strategies do I need to put in place from a marketing perspective to hit 10, right? Can I just use PPC and I'm going to get there? So between, the algorithm and potentially some of the organic sales I'll get for that in the first 14 days and PPC, is that enough for me to actually hit that daily volume? If it is yes, great. If it's no, then I need to say, okay, well, what do I need to do in addition to that to hit that number? So I've got PPC, which I have to do. I've got the organic sales from the algorithm, great. And then if I need to go off of Amazon, what is that strategy going to be? And there's definitely Google Ads, which I think is a really easy one to put in place, driving people who are searching on Google directly to your listing. So I think that's an easy one. And then, Facebook ads is something you can do if you need to. But I personally lean on PPC and Google ads, and then, a launch, kind of an organic list that I have generated from products that I can reach out to and drive some organic sales as well. Some launch strategies that I have there. And that's usually generally enough. Like, I think, to be honest, if you're having to do more than that, you might not have picked right in the beginning. If you can simply get that right, you should have a successful business. Yeah.
Well, you know what else I want to do with you? I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my browser. Just a second, I'll share my screen.
I don't know what you're going to be coming up with, but I bet you it's going to be
do some experiments. No worries, just want to practically see a little bit of maybe ZonGuru website. And so it's a software, and I've seen on Augusta's YouTube channel that it's a standalone software, but I've also seen somewhere here that you have an extension, Chrome extension, right?
Yeah.
So is that a free extension, or you get it as part of a deal when you pay for the
software? It's part of the deal. Yeah. Yeah, that's myself and Darren. Darren's one of our lead product guys as well. He's great. Yeah. So we have a Chrome extension as well, but it's part of the initial package. The Chrome extension is actually, that's got the niche radar tool, and you can actually see it there that says 67%, just in that little screenshot right there. With the rollover on we actually call it the rainbow internally, because it has 4 parts to it. And I think it's really important when you're rating a niche, not just to say, hey, it's 67%. Okay, what does that mean? But really breaking it down into how we think about understanding a niche. And we break it down into 4 main categories. One is buyer demand. The other is competition opportunity, investment sweet spot, and then revenue potential. And we give a rating to each of those. And that's really important, because I might see a score of 67%, but actually, buyer demand is a little lower, around 40%, and competition opportunity is like 80%, is 80%. So that might actually, for me, mean, hey, I might still be quite interested in this opportunity, because even though the buyer demand is slightly low, the competition opportunity is really high. And that means I've got a better opportunity to get to page 1. So there's a little question mark there that really breaks down what we think is a good rating and not. So anybody who uses it can click on that. But we find this to be really successful in, as you use it more, you get to trust this niche score. And I use it. I can look at any product immediately and within a couple of seconds tell you whether this is worthwhile exploring more or not. But again, those 4 key categories are buyer demand, which is, are people actually searching for that type of product already? And that's based on actual search volume that we get from Amazon. So we have a verified partnership with Amazon, and we get actual search volume. Competition opportunity is how well optimized are the competitors' listings. So we look at EBC, we look at keywords, where they're placed, we look at length of time that products have actually been on Amazon, and a bunch of other key statistics around that to really understand how competitive is the space. Reviews we obviously look at as well. Investment sweet spot is really a launch budget. So based on what the COGS would be for this product and the daily volume of sales that someone would be doing, we kind of come up with a launch budget. And we look at a 3-month launch budget of stock, and you can kind of adjust this based on your level of risk, but we usually look at around 12 to 15,000 as a capital investment. So anything around that mark would be a good launch budget. Above or below, the score changes. And then finally, revenue potential. We have a number of indicators that will tell us whether we think we can actually get to page 1 and what kind of profit we can make on this product overall. So price points, and a few other key things play into that. So that's how we look at our niche score, and just any search that you do, yeah. You can see this and dive in.
Looking for new products, I guess, to add to it's it's awesome for new sellers, but also for established sellers. When you're adding more products, you have more understanding of the niche, like if I am already in scuba diving space and I'm adding other scuba diving products, I have a better feeling whether your data is right or not, right? And now that you said that buyer demand is like 100% true because you get real search volume from Amazon, which is very new to me. So how did you guys get that? Like, is this any software gets it, or like, is this just you are the only ones who have it? Like, because it's so important to have exact.
Yeah. So last year, there was a program launched by Amazon where we essentially were looked at in terms of becoming a verified partner of Amazon, which we are. We're a verified partner. And so, essentially they're putting their stamp of approval on the work that we do. And through that, and through conversations that we can have with Amazon, we get access to data that other software companies don't. And one of them is actual search volume, which we use for that. And we use for dollars from keywords. So we can tell you not only what is the actual search volume for that keyword, but what is the actual monthly dollars that the top 25 listings generate for that keyword. So it gives you a really accurate number around the actual potential that you can, if you can take some of those sales, what is the actual potential that you can get. So these are really key pieces that we have access to, which is great. And it fundamentally goes back to why we envisioned this company in the beginning, which is, and the responsibility we have, right? This is an amazing time where people can start this product-based business on Amazon, and truly you don't need any kind of education background or class background or even location background. You can live anywhere in the world and you can sell on the biggest platform in the world, Amazon.com, and you can build a product-based business that can scale your wealth in a way that you could never do before. So there's an amazing opportunity for any person in this world to really create an amazing life for themselves. And we have a responsibility around that to make sure that we provide accurate, relevant, timely data to individuals who are looking at it so they can make the right decision for their business, because the decision you make today has a consequence of where you're going to be in 6 months, right? So we really work hard on getting that accurate data for our customers. And we also, one of the things that I've always encouraged is people on our team to have an Amazon business themselves, because we believe in it. And we, at least over 50% of our team now sell on Amazon. So they understand, what they're developing as a tool, what data they need so they can be more successful with their business, and then obviously pass it on to our customers. So these are the kind of things we really look at, and we make sure we can give our customers. Yeah.
Well, I'd be so curious to spend another hour looking at ZonGuru features and so on, but I guess people can look it up themselves. So mostly it's used by people who are either running PPC campaigns, right? Looking for keywords. I'm looking to add a new product, then I'm looking for keywords for that, like researching the market, using the extension and so on. Or I am completely new to Amazon and I'm just launching my first product and I'm trying to learn about the niche, right? So which group is the biggest out of your users, you would say? Like, what's the
I would say in kind of our target audience mix, we have a lot of new people researching, and that's obvious just because you have a lot more people out there who are looking to start an Amazon business. And then the other mix we have is sellers, and then more of those kind of $1 million sellers. We have a bunch of those as well. Some very experienced sellers who are using our platform, and mostly around the listing optimization and the keywords. Absolutely. And I think the way that we showcase the data, it really helps with looking at some of those relevant keywords and opportunities. And people are seeing a lot of value in that. And then also our business dashboard. We have a really strong business dashboard. And I think that it's strong because the way that we, again, it's not just about showing data, it's how you show it, and if you can display that in a way that makes sense to business mind, that's really important. So that idea of, if I look at the dashboard, am I at a snapshot seeing exactly what I need to see to make decisions for my business? That's what our dashboard provides. So, anything from obviously the basics like revenue and profits, actually to what your business is worth. So we have a multiple built in there to actually tell you, if I sold my business today, how much would I actually get for it, based on my stock and my multiple, and my kind of my sales. But then a really important one is a breakdown of your organic and paid sales, and your ACOS across your business, but also for individual products. And what it's called ACOTS, which is your advertising cost of total sales. So it looks at your advertising sales versus all your sales for your business. So it's a really interesting way to look at your paid sales versus your sales for your whole business. And then we have a breakdown of your best and worst. So, I always say, to scale your business is not always about optimizing your best performers. It's also about making sure you focus on your worst performers. So, we have a way of showing you across your business what are some of the key metrics that are around my worst performing items, and then how can I actually improve those, which can help my overall business. So the dashboard is pretty strong as well. Yeah.
Right. Sounds like a great tool. Guys, check it out. Do you have any specials that you could offer us? Maybe some discounts or some free trials?
Yeah, we actually have, and I can give you a few links, but we have one which is quite popular right now, which is ZonGuru for just $1. So your first 30 days, it'll be just $1. So it just gives you the opportunity to really try ZonGuru and see for 30 days whether you like it or not. And then we have various package prices starting from around $35 a month. But once you're actually into the packages, we have kind of a unique feature around add-ons where you can go into your account and you can kind of up the use of some of the tools that you want, or downgrade the limits that you want on someone's, and you can really get that package to the right level for you. So if you're really focused on researching, you can customize the package to focus, most of your spend or your subscription around the research tools, and not obviously some of the selling tools. And then as you progress with your business, you can change it. So basically, we get some really good feedback from that, is that people have the opportunity to customize the price they pay based on where they're at in their business. But just if you sign up, you can adjust it once you're in.
It sounds great. So you can optimize your costs. This is cool.
Yeah.
So the link that you mentioned, I'm going to add under the video so you guys can look it up in the first comment. And yeah, so I guess I have 100 questions, but I'll let you go. Time is up. Thank you so much for coming today. Do you have any last words and advice for my viewers?
Yes. Just first of all, thanks. I enjoyed connecting with you, and congratulations on your business and what you're doing on your side. It's
thank you. Cool.
Definitely got a lot of expertise, and you're in the right place for your business, which is amazing. And I look forward to connecting with you in the future. But yeah, I think in terms of your audience, I think my last piece of advice there is that if you're starting, make sure you are spending a lot of time researching and getting the data, not only around what product to sell, but around the potential customer that you're going to sell to. That's a really important piece, just to recap. And I think the last piece on that is make sure you plan. And it sounds simple, but most people who are starting an Amazon business are doing it as a side gig. And if you don't plan properly and actually set some key milestones and then work backwards from that and set some key milestones, what I call milestones each week, like, hey, I just need to achieve this one thing this week. If you don't put that in place, you get distracted and you spend your time on your main job or whatever, and it takes you a lot longer to launch this business. But if you really just do a small piece every single week on your Amazon business, very quickly you'll have one live and it'll start generating you money. So just make sure you plan, set your milestone, envision what you're going to be earning from this business, and then make sure you do one thing on that business every single week at least, and you'll see it'll happen pretty quickly. So I would say that's the last piece for researchers. And then for bigger sellers, try ZonGuru, because you'll be quite surprised at some of the data that you will unlock there that can give you an advantage, especially when you look at what your competitors are doing. And lastly, just once you've launched and you're growing, just focus on keeping that wheel turning, because if you fall out of favor with the Amazon algorithm, it's very difficult to get back. So make sure you're using the right tools to keep you ahead of the Amazon algorithm, and just keep optimizing your business. I think that's the really important point. So often we launch and then we focus on the next product rather than maximizing the product that we have. So yeah.
Great advice. Thank you so much for going today.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, cheers.